Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do. It helps tremendous, especially small channels like this reach the For You page, especially to Jews around the world and where it's necessary to be watched, especially with the vast amount of YouTube channels. Thanks for watching, and let's to the video.
Seven is justified. You know, Hamas as liberation organization, we never commit crimes. We never kill civilians. We try all the time to liberate our home from the
Well, that's
occupation.
complete nonsense, Mr. Hamad. We all saw what happened on October the 7th in 2023. So the idea you've not committed crimes is ridiculous.
No. I say 100%. I'm confident that 100%. We never commit crimes against civilians. Maybe some mistake happened, but it is not the policy of Hamas.
Why would you take hostage a baby? What possible justification? Never mind all the other crimes that were committed that day. Why would you kidnap a baby?
Other people are watching, so I think we did our best in order to save our people, to save our citizens in Gaza Strip from displacement, from mass killing, from massacres, from genocide, from all kinds of tortures. So I think this is a forced necessity in order to save our people in Gaza Strip. I know it is not easy. I'm not so pleased with deal because I think we are looking for something is more better in order to create a good atmosphere for our people, to end our occupation, to end the occupation, to build a new future for our people. But as I told you, the situation really is very bad, very hard for us. No one helped us in this, and for 80 years that all the international community are looking for watching the Palestinian people under oppression, killing, mass killing, settlements in the West Bank, confiscation of lands. So I think we try to do something in order to save our people, to put our cause in the table of the international community. This is an exceptional phase of the Palestinian history, which is full of pain, tears, blood, and suffering. This is maybe someone's most hardest phase in the Palestinian history. I hope that we can succeed to save our people from this monster. You know, yesterday we received significant messages from the Israeli after the declaration or after Hamas said that we accept this agreement. They killed more than 30 people, citizens, children, and women. And they sent very, very significant message to the United States.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure.
To the mediators, to the Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey. We are not interested with the deal. We want to continue to kill people in Gaza Strip, to target everywhere. So I think that the world should understand that Israel is a burden. Israel is the core of the problems in the Middle East. They created troubles in Lebanon, in Gaza, in West Bank, in Yemen, in Iraq, in Iran. I hope that the world can open their eyes and see that the problem is not the Palestinians. The problem is Israel, which is a state of occupation, state of extermination, a state of genocide, a state of racism, apartheid. I hope that they can understand.
Let me put a question to you. Okay, so you obviously do not trust the Israelis. And I would put to you that there's very good reason why they would not trust Hamas, and you in particular, when you make any kind of pledges, because of course after October the 7th, one of the worst terrorist attacks of modern times, you went on camera publicly and said, we will do this again and again and again, and said you were wedded to annihilating Israel. Why should the Israelis trust somebody who said that?
You are professional journalist. What do you expect from Palestinian people under occupation for 80 years? I am as Ghazi. I know nothing about West Bank. I know nothing about my people in Jerusalem. I know nothing about my people inside the Green Line. 80 years of suffering, oppression, and suffering from the Palestinian. The Palestinian people, Palestinian organization, PLO, they try to find a solution, peace process with this.
Yeah, they try to find a solution. They try to find a solution. Allahu Akbar. They tried to find a solution. Very deadly solutions like the first and second intifadas. Wow, this guy is a professional liar.
Israel, but Israel destroyed the peace process. And instead of this, they started to take lands, now to destroy the Palestinian Authority, to impose...
No, I understand, but with respect, Mr. Hamad, if I may just interject, with respect, if I may just ask you a question. If I may just ask you, I just want to ask you to, I want you to respond to my, Mr. Hamad, respectfully, if I could just ask you to answer the question, which is, given that you yourself said publicly that you wanted Hamas to keep doing an October the 7th style attack again and again and again, why should the Israelis trust you?
You know that they don't trust anyone. They don't listen to anyone. They don't listen to the mediators. They should not trust anyone, because
we listen to the Americans, which is a problem, but we listen to the Americans. We do what they say in most cases.
Because I think that this is an occupation. You know, Hamas as liberation organization, we never commit crimes. We never kill civilians. We try all the time to liberate our home from the occupation.
Well, that's complete nonsense, Mr. Hamad. Sorry, I have to interrupt there. When you say you don't commit crimes and you don't kill innocent civilians, we all saw what happened on October the 7th in 2023. You had 3,000 members of your organization, Hamas, pour over the Israeli border and commit a series of despicable crimes in which you massacred innocent civilians all over Israel. You then captured over 250 of them, including Holocaust survivors and a baby. So the idea you've not committed crimes is ridiculous.
No. I say 100%. I'm confident that 100%. We never commit crimes against civilians. Maybe some mistake happened, but it is not the policy of Hamas. It is not the
Well, there weren't mistakes. You gunned down innocent people. Sorry, again, Mr. Hamad, I'm sorry. I can't let you get away with saying that. Hamas deliberately massacred people at a music festival. Hundreds of young people enjoying a music festival. That is a war crime.
Very well. There was no commands to kill civilians or to kill women or to kill children. I think maybe some mistakes happened, but I think that Hamas has no any
there weren't
kind
mistakes.
of
You burned people alive in their homes.
Instruction to kill civilians. In spite, you know that how many people, how many civilians, how hundred thousands of Palestinians since 1948, civilians, women and children were killed by the Israeli forces.
No. He's deflecting now. Guys, we have all seen the footage of Hamas militants aiming weapons. You see the Hamas militants and pulling the trigger. We have all seen that. These are not mistakes. These were deliberate targetings. Hey, just a small break before.
What they are doing to Palestinian people, it is not something that you can imagine.
Just to be clear, I have said repeatedly on my show that I believe that the scale of Israel's response to October the 7th has been way over the top. They've killed far too many Palestinian civilians in their response to what happened that day. But given that you are the Hamas spokesman, for you to come on this program and say to me with a straight face that nobody in Hamas committed any crimes on October the 7th is just a brazen lie. Your people, your terrorists, poured over the border and slaughtered hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of innocent civilians and captured many more.
Piers, I'm main leaders of Hamas. I understand. We believe in humanity. We believe in law. We believe in ethics and morality. We understand this is very well. We never use violence again. Maybe there's some mistake by individuals, but it is not the policy of Hamas. It is not our thinking. It is not our mentality to kill civilians. But maybe some people, there's some mistakes happen. Yes, I don't deny this. But you have to understand, we are. You look to the hostages, all the Israeli hostages who were kept for a long time. I think we did him very kind with them. We feed them. We give him all kinds of protection and shelter.
Taking hostages is a war crime. Seconds before he said they never committed crimes. It's a mistake. He just said they held hostages and that they treated them fine. Some of their policy was to take as many hostages as possible into the territory of Gaza. This guy is lying to our faces with so much confidence. Disgusting.
But our prisoners now, more than 7 or 9,000, now every day they are exposed to the tortures and exposed to the humiliation on all kinds of bad behavior. So I think now we believe that we follow the Islam principles who instruct us now to deal with even with enemy. But look now to Gaza. You know, since the signature of the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement, about 1,400 people were killed. But you can see 80% of them are civilians, women and children. Before that, in this war of genocide, more than 80, according to our statistics and the statistics of the international organization, more than 90% of people are civilians. So I think as Hamas, we believe to fight against occupation. This is our duty to fight against them again and again, because I think we are looking to build our future, to free our homeland.
But if you're going to, all right, but Mr. Hamad, let me again interrupt you because I can't just let you talk without being challenged. When you accuse Israel of committing crimes, I think you have perfectly legitimate claims against some of the actions of this Israeli government, and a proper investigation will need to happen about exactly what has happened in Gaza and how many civilians have been killed. I think the reaction from the Israeli government has been way over the top, and they've killed far too many civilians. They say they've only gone after Hamas terrorists, and that in the process civilians have been killed. I think that's a very questionable position of them.
Happens in every single war. It's not a questionable position, Pierce. It happens in every war, and you know this. I don't know. It's weird. Let's continue.
I also think the fact that 75-80% of Gaza is pretty well uninhabitable is a disgrace. And I think the actions of some members of the Israeli government, Ben-Gvir, Smotrich and others, and their words are borderline, certainly ethnic cleansing and possibly genocidal. I think their plan and intention is to take the West Bank and Gaza. So, I've tried to be very fair in my coverage of this since October the 7th, and I'm very aware of the history going back to 1948. However, if you're going to come on here and you're going to accuse Israel of committing crimes, but in the same breath try and tell me that no Hamas terrorists on October the 7th committed crimes, everybody watching this interview will think you're a liar. Why would you want them to think you're a liar?
Is not a terrorist organized action. I think we are acting against occupation. We never, as Hamas, use our power and our capability against Europeans, against Christians, against Jews, against Western people. We are fighting against occupation, and it is our legitimate right. According to United Nations resolution, according to the international community, according to all kinds of regulations and laws, it is our fight against to end this monster, this occupation. We want to end it. No one helped us to do that. So I think we have to use everything.
Hezbollah is helping you to do that. The Houthis are helping you to do that. The IRGC is helping you to do that. The Shia militias in Iraq and Syria are helping you to do that. Millions of Muslims around the world are spreading propaganda about your BS. They're helping you to do that. Shut your ass up about nobody's helping you to do it.
But we never cross the lines of morality and humanity and laws in our conflict against occupation. But if you look to the other side,
I'm sorry, but again, Mr. Hamad, I'm sorry, listen, I'm sorry, but you crossed every line of humanity and morality.
This is not true.
Every line. On October the 7th, the actions of Hamas on October the 7th crossed every single moral, ethical, and humanity line.
This is not
Your
true.
people committed acts of utter barbarism against innocent Israelis. You did. We saw it with our own eyes. Your people, your Hamas terrorists, just to be clear, your Hamas terrorists, your people, they deliberately posted videos of themselves committing their atrocities in real time.
Yeah, but Paris, why you describe Hamas as this organization? Why? Please answer me this question.
Because I think what happened, I'm going to tell you. If you let me answer, I'll tell you.
But just answer me.
On October the 7th, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Hamas is
I will tell you, I understand your position.
Yes.
I understand your position, and I understand that you believe you're fighting an occupation. You believe you're therefore freedom fighters. I understand
Yes.
Hamas' position. However, of despicable crimes against the Israeli people. Now,
You
there
are
is no
fair.
justification.
You are not fair.
Well,
you are not fair in this situation. No,
to
no,
be
you
clear,
are not
well,
fair.
let me ask you one simple question. One simple question. Why would you take hostage a baby? What possible justification? Never mind all the other crimes that were committed that day. Why would you kidnap a baby?
I told again and again and again. We have no instruction to do that. We never planned to take civilian.
So why did they do it?
No. I want to tell you something. This is a fact that in the beginning of this war, that I think we told some international organization we are ready to free all civilians in the beginning of the war, but Israel refused that. You know, I was in this negotiation table. We proposed to release all the civilians, but Israel, they refused that. Our goal in this war.
By the way, I don't know if that was the case, but I would have never agreed to ending the war that they started if they offered all the civilians back. You don't get to start a war and then dictate the terms after. No. They need to be wiped because then that risk will come back.
Or in 7 October is to what's called to lift the siege on Gaza, to take soldiers, hostages, right, in order to free about 6,000 Palestinians. Some of them, they spent more than 4 in the prison under oppression and humiliation. This is our...
To end up in prison, did they stab? Did they shoot? Did they run over? Did they work for your organization? Probably. That's why they're in prison. And they should stay in prison. In my opinion, they should get the death penalty.
And along the history of Hamas, we never used to rest against anyone. So I think what we are fighting in order to free our people, in order to fight against occupation, in order to free our people, our land from the occupation. There is no one evidence that Hamas is using or committing crimes against civilians. This is prohibited by our religions and our
why
did you
why in that case why did Hamas terrorists go to a music festival full of young people and massacre hundreds of those young people at a music festival? Tell me why they did that. If, as you say, there were no instructions to commit crime.
If you go back to some investigation done by Israeli institution, and even if you go to Haaretz newspaper, you see that many people killed by the Israeli forces, many Israeli citizens.
It's so funny because we can see Nova survivors saying that they have not seen Israeli soldiers killing other Nova goers. The only people claiming that are the Hamas terrorists and the Muslims supporting them and the people supporting them. Give us a break. We have seen the footage. We have seen the crimes you committed.
By the Israeli forces, many of them, when Hamas fighters entered inside the Green Line, the Israeli tanks and helicopters and all military weapons, they directed their fire to the Israeli citizens. They tried maybe to kill the members of Hamas, but they killed the Israeli citizens. I think you have to be very acute in this issue. If you go back to some Israeli investigation to understand Hamas was not directing its action against the civilians. Our goal is very clear. I don't deny that there's some mistakes happened at that time, but this is not our policy. This is not our goal. This is not our thinking to do
but
that.
Mr. Hamad, they were not mistakes. These were young Hamas terrorists who were going from home to home, massacring families in their homes, setting fire to them, butchering them with knives, gunning them down with guns. They were doing it all over that area when they attacked. They weren't mistakes. This was a coordinated plan of a terrorist attack. And for you to try and deny that is to deny what we all saw with our own eyes. And the reason we saw most of it is because the Hamas terrorists posted what they were doing onto social media platforms in real time because they were so proud of what they were doing.
Do you have any proof for that? Do you have a proof?
Yes.
Yeah, the proof that Hamas
the proof came
from home to home to kill people.
Yes, there is enormous amounts of proof. What, you don't think Hamas killed any civilians that day?
No, I don't deny that there's some mistakes done. I don't deny that. But as I told you, as
There
a
weren't
member, a
mistakes.
leader of Hamas,
They were killed deliberately.
We have no. I don't waste time in this because I'm so confident that we as Hamas, that we did October 7, as I told you, in order to lift the siege on Gaza Strip. That we sent people in order to free Gaza from the siege imposed on Gaza for more than 15 years.
But it didn't work, did it? Okay, let me assume. All right, Mr. Hamad, let me assume that that was your plan, right? And just before we get into my point about that, there is a report that you yourself left Gaza before October the 7th and haven't been back. Is that true?
I left Gaza before October 7th, that's right. But
And you haven't been back?
I wonder where he left. Why did he leave? Because he knew he was going to be a target? So he left the civilians there to die as collateral damage and he left? How egotistical.
It's normal. It's not something exceptional. Yeah. I left Gaza.
No, but you talk a lot. But you have talked. The reason I ask you is you've talked a lot about the heroic martyrs on October the 7th. But where was your heroism? Where were you standing up for your people, given that you fled the country and went to Qatar rather than stay and fight, as you put it, the occupation?
Give me 1 minute. If you go back in October 6th, not October 7th, if you look at the situation in Gaza Strip, to ask yourself why Hamas did that. Before October 7th, that all Palestinians under occupation, Ben Gvir all the time.
It's a lie.
Taking their lands, building more settlements, expanding settlements. There is no time. They destroy the peace process. They destroy everything. And the world is watching. Look at Israel, spoiled boy. Israel is very beautiful. We have to protect Israel and the Palestinians for 8 years under oppression. What do you expect the Palestinians to do? We have two options. Either we keep ourselves as slaves under the occupation and be very polite and throw flowers in the Israeli occupation, or to fight them, or to go in the other way. Either we go to the direction of peace or direction of violence. You don't give the Palestinians any option. The war, they keep the Palestinians under oppression all the time, doing nothing. So I think October 7th is justified. Justifies because when you see that the Palestinians are killed every day and their lands are taken by these crazy gangs and everything is destroyed and we have no homeland, no identity, no flag, no skills. Even they destroy the Palestinian Authority. They destroy the peace of Israel. What do you expect from the Palestinian people to do that? You want to keep silence? To keep silence for 80 years?
Maybe teach your children and your husbands and your wives not to go out to Israel to kill or to fire rockets from Gaza, and then we can come to the table and speak. Maybe that's what you should do instead of trying to kill as many Israelis as possible and commit as many terrorist attacks as possible. It's not going to make us bend. It's going to make us fight harder. It's going to make us build stricter borders, exactly against what you're expecting.
No one helped them.
My response to you. Listen, Mr. Hamad. I believe that Palestinians should have the exact same human rights as Israelis and anybody else. I believe in a two-state solution. I believe there should be a full state of Palestine, and that should be the way through this.
Why is there?
That's exactly the problem. Pierce, why should Israel exist? They don't even want Israel to exist. They don't believe in a two-state solution. They want the whole thing to be Palestine. They're saying it to our faces.
It should exist. Why?
No, let me make my... Well,
ask me
for the same reason that you should exist.
To kill people?
I believe Israel has a right to... I believe Israel... I believe... Mr. Hamad, I believe that Israel and... Let me finish. I believe that Israel and Palestine both have a right to exist as independent states. There should be a two-state solution. I've always believed that. However, I would ask you this more difficult question. If what happened on October the 7th, as you put it, was justified, which I think is a grotesque defense of a terrorist attack, but let's assume for one moment that you think that what you did that day was essential for getting what you wanted for the people of Gaza, then it's been a spectacular failure, hasn't it? Because nearly 80,000 people at least, probably many more, have been slaughtered by the IDF in response. 75–80% of Gaza has been flattened. The people that have been left in a tiny area of Gaza are living in the most appalling conditions. And you've now got Israeli ministers openly talking about an ethnic cleansing of both Gaza and the West Bank. So from a strategic point of view, whether you defend what you did on October the 7th or not, and I think it's indefensible. My question, Mr. Hamad, let me finish. Let me ask you the question. Do you accept that your strategy that day has been a spectacular failure?
Look, you look just to one side. I know you are a professional journalist, and I think you have to look with your two eyes. I know that we paid a big price. That's right. But it is not a tune. Since 1948, we paid more than 100,000 of people murdered by Israelis, 100,000 of prisoners, 100,000 of injured people. You know, this is a tragedy of the Palestinian tragedy continued for more than 80 years. So I think if you look to the...
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps small content creators and small channels like this reach the For You page, especially in the big population and the Jewish community, or where it's needed to be watched, and people all around the world. So please do so. It helps a lot, and let's continue.